What's getting in your way of reaching your goals? Here's a quick solution. Welcome to episode number 64. Hi, I'm Clarinda, and you are listening to the Feel Light, Mind, and Body podcast, created for women like you. Women who are experiencing success in so many areas of life, but are struggling with weight loss, stress eating, and decreased energy. Losing weight can feel hard, heavy, and restrictive. That's why every week I will be offering you a different perspective, tips, encouragement, and a unique approach so that you can feel lighter in your mind and body rather than feeling deprived, frustrated, or discouraged. What if you could feel free, yet in control around food for the rest of your life? What if you could enjoy your experience of losing weight and getting healthier? You absolutely can. You're in the right place. Take this time for yourself and let's dive in. Hello, my friends. How are you? We've made it to the end of January. I'm so happy. It's the one month that, other than at the very beginning in that New Year energy, once that's kind of starting to dwindle, I'm ready for February. Let's think back to 4 weeks ago. Whether you're a resolution maker or not, you probably decided to try to eat better, go to bed earlier, move more, or do something you put off last year. So I thought I'd check in with you to see where you're at. I'd love to hear what's working or where you might be starting to struggle as that New Year energy just starts to wear off. You can always hit reply on the short newsletter email every Tuesday. I'll add the link in this episode's description for those who aren't receiving these yet. I'm hoping to try out a new recipe this weekend. I'm recording this on a Wednesday. I'm getting ahead of myself a bit, which is great. And if it turns out, I'll share it in next week's newsletter so you can enjoy a healthified chocolate treat in February. So for most of us, we can be doing pretty well, and then something happens that knocks us a bit sideways, and we start to waver in our commitment. Maybe you have to work late, then get stuck in traffic, and you're famished when you get home. Maybe you oversleep because you had a restless night and have to rush out the door to get the kids to daycare or yourself to work. Other examples that cause us to go off course are when a family member gets sick or injured and requires a lot of our care. We receive bad news, we feel overwhelmed, or a deal falls through. And it's not only the stressful events that can trip us up, it can also be the spontaneous fun ones, like someone bringing home pizza at 8 o'clock at night, getting an unexpected dinner invite, or being asked to go away for the weekend. Your brain will say, well, this one time won't matter, or I'll wait and start when I get back. What would you say is getting in your way? Getting in the way of sticking to your plan to reach a desired goal? And before we get to the quick solution I mentioned, what exactly is your plan? Is it a plan you've done before? Is it something in your head, or is it written down? Is it one that someone has made for you, or is it a personalized plan based on your values? Why I want you to get clear on that is because my quick solution is to plan for it. You might think, Well, of course I have a plan, but I'm finding it hard to stick to it at times, and then I start to doubt myself and worry that I won't be able to follow it for long enough to reach my goal. Exactly. And most of our plans that we make or are made for us are made for an ideal day or life. I'm being generous, but let's say that your week is probably a 50-50 ratio for idealistic days compared to bad days. So, yes, it's great you have a plan, but I also want you to have a plan for when the unexpected happens. We're not pessimistic, we're being realistic when we have a strategy in place for when our day doesn't go as planned. I'm using eating healthier as an overall example, but you can apply or tweak the following tips and solutions to the goal you're working on that might be encountering obstacles and you derail for longer than is necessary. Plan for it. We know that stress is inevitable, but how long we hang on to it or how we deal with it is the real problem. So let's get ahead of your next frustration by having a plan in place while your brain is calm and strategic and not overruled by the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn response of a stressor. Great questions to ask are, what can you do to move the stress or energy out of your body? What can you say to yourself for comfort and encouragement? What healthy options can you keep in the console of your car, the staff fridge, or your freezer? If we don't have a plan in place, then your primal brain will offer you a simple, automatic solution of eating for comfort and distraction from what's causing you emotional pain or stress. And a real biggie is, what do you say to yourself after if you can't catch it before you do what you don't want to do, which is overeat or overdrink? And when I say overeating or overdrinking, that doesn't even have to mean gorging. It's simply eating when you're not hungry. You're not eating for physical sustenance. You're eating in an attempt to escape an unwanted emotion or create a good feeling emotion. Some people say that food feels safe, comforting like a good friend, familiar, and of course, pleasurable. That neural pathway is so ingrained in feeling stressed and then going for the refrigerator, pantry, or the nearest drive-thru, most likely to get that dopamine hit. Maybe you're thinking, well, I don't really know what might trip me up, so how can I plan for it? Let's think about that. It's the last week of January, and you're human. None of us are perfect, so think of what you've already done or did not do this month that you know isn't your optimal self. Or think back to your past weight loss attempts. Think about the reasons why you gave up or decided it was too hard. We dive deeper into this in the Feel Light Mind and Body program and private coaching sessions. There's a powerful and freeing shift that happens when you can look at it objectively and with curiosity rather than through a condemning or shaming lens. I know that there were times when I used to film my daughter, and when we were gone a couple of hours past the original time frame she gave me, I would get irritated and restless, and all I could think about was what I could eat immediately after. I've also had unexpected road trips when one of my parents had to go to the ER, so when I didn't have a plan, guess what? I was eating whatever appealed to me, not only for comfort and distraction, but also for a natural hunger. I didn't have healthy, nourishing options available to me. That was 10 years ago before I decided to deliberately plan for the unexpected. Now I can whip together in less than 5 minutes a lunch bag for a last-minute call and getting out the door. During the last month before my dad died, we knew it was imminent. So I had a garment bag ready with funeral clothes, pictures to use at his funeral, my toiletry bag, and essentials laid out because I knew with the 2-hour drive that time would be of essence. I also had fresh fruit and fairly healthy nutrition bars, along with my protein-packed power balls and individual meals in the freezer. It really was so helpful and gave me some good nutrition. Left to its own default mode, our brains would rather just stay in our old habits, and any change can feel like a big deal. We resist things like planning and following through when it takes some effort. We work within the private Feel Light community on things like reframing how you view taking 5 to 10 minutes to strategize and have a plan that would work best for you. We explore how you can do it in a way that leaves you feeling nurtured, cared for, and with a feeling of satisfaction and warmth. You truly are taking care of yourself by planning ahead. And when you do that, guess what? You don't quit. And you don't stay in discouragement and frustration. And when you do, you don't have to stay there very long. By planning ahead, you're taking care of the you who, in the moment, might not have the capacity to strategize when a crisis or even a perceived crisis occurs and our sympathetic nervous system is activated. Our brain reacts in a survival mode, and eating is one of the essentials for surviving. We can rewire that automatic response by simply saying pause and then looking at our phone notes or calendar to remind ourselves of the simple plan we thoughtfully put in place ahead of time. That does take practice. It's simple tools and hacks like this that will not only help you achieve a healthier state of mind and body, but will allow you to sustain it and integrate it as part of your identity and life. You can feel confident, free, at peace, and in control, no matter what your circumstances are. You don't have to keep starting over from scratch. Making yourself do this with sheer willpower will leave you feeling exhausted, possibly resentful, and frustrated. Why? Because willpower will only last so long. Eventually, white-knuckling loses its grip and falls. Having a loving focus and plan in place that aligns with your values and goals will leave you feeling supported, valued, and cared for. Just today, one client shared how her dinner plans went out the door the other night. I encouraged her to keep it simple. Don't make it a big deal. Learn from it and use it as an opportunity to plan for the next time, as there will be another occasion that doesn't fit with our ideal plan. The time to get help is when we notice we're starting to waver in our belief that our goal is possible and can then be sustainable. As a nurse and personal trainer for years, I witnessed too many people throw in the towel while they were sick or injured. And that, my friend, is when we need to nurture our body and mind the most. So really, the time to get support is now, so that you have a solid foundation to equip and support you through the good times and the bad, in sickness and health. Kind of sounding like a marriage here, but I guess it is a commitment, isn't it? If I can help you in any way, please reach out to me. I don't want anyone left spinning or feeling like it's hopeless. I don't want anyone succumbing to an "it is what it is" without having a nurturing plan in place to get them through whatever that circumstance is. We aren't meant to do life alone, and there's no shame in reaching out for support. I have a weekly session with my life coach, and it's one of the most nurturing things I can give myself. It's like my brain gets a cleansing shower, and I feel so fresh and rejuvenated afterwards. If you're wondering how I can help you as your life coach, then please don't hesitate to book a 20-minute free session with me. No strings attached. It's part of the giving that I love to do. You can find the link to choose a time that works for your schedule in this episode's description. A life coach helps you get out of your own way. I help you understand why you do what you do and simplify how your brain works and how to manage your thoughts and feelings in a way that supports you. I help you strategize and overcome any obstacle. That leaves you feeling confident in your ability and capacity to handle whatever comes your way without it derailing your health, relationship, or career goals. So, at some point today, take 5 minutes and jot down a short plan for how you can handle your next surprise invite, change in plans, bad news, or time changes. Be realistic while also keeping your goal in mind. This will be a meaningful and impactful self-care choice. Make it a fantastic week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Now, do yourself the biggest favor. From love, take at least one action step from what you learned today. Knowledge without application won't give you the results that you desire. Let me know on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, what you are choosing to do and when. And yes, please leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this. When people read your words and can see themselves in them, then you are contributing to women empowering other women. And that feels amazing. You just might change or save a life today.